All right, today we're going to get into a more truthful and, frankly, a much smarter way to measure marketing's real impact. It's a topic that, believe me, trips up even the best teams out there. But getting this right, well, it changes the entire game. So many marketing teams have these incredibly busy dashboards, right? The charts are all going up and to the right, reports get shared all the time, but very few can honestly answer this one simple question. Did our work actually change anything? And this right here, this is the key. We're going to unpack this idea because the problem usually isn't about a lack of data or fancy tools. Nope. It's a fundamental flaw in how we think about performance from the very beginning. And this one shift in your thinking, well, that's the key to everything.
So let's start by pulling back the curtain on what I call the measurement illusion and really look at why the way most teams track performance can be so misleading.
I mean, this probably looks pretty familiar, right? We're just surrounded by signals of activity. Numbers are going up, reports are flying around, but you have to understand all this activity isn't proof of impact. It's just proof that, well, things are happening.
And this quote, wow, it just nails the trap we all fall into. You know, when pipeline goes up right after a campaign launch, our gut reaction is to say, hey, the campaign worked. But in reality, when we just attribute every good thing to our actions without any deeper proof, we're just mistaking correlation for causation.
So, the root of this entire issue, the one thing that helps you break free from that illusion, lies in a concept that, honestly, most marketing teams completely ignore: the baseline.
A baseline really isn't that complicated. It's simply your best, most honest guess of what would have happened anyway. You know, what would be the normal state of affairs if you didn't run any new campaigns, if you spent zero new budget? That number, that's your baseline.
And it is so crucial to be crystal clear on what a baseline is not. It's not a goal you're trying to hit. It's not just a copy and paste of last quarter's numbers. It's what we call a counterfactual. It's a picture of the reality that would exist without your new marketing efforts.
And yeah, here's the uncomfortable truth of it all. Teams are so eager to show results that they just leap right over the most critical step. They never stop and ask what normal actually looks like, or what would have happened if they had just done nothing at all.
Okay, so once we actually have a baseline established, then we could unlock true impact measurement. And we do that with two really powerful concepts: lift and causality.
Lift. This is where the magic happens, people. It is the pure, isolated, incremental impact of your marketing. So it's not the total number of conversions you got. It's the number of conversions that happened only because of what you did. You see, lift only makes sense when you compare it to a baseline.
So this is the big takeaway here. Without a baseline, you are just reporting outcomes. You're just describing what happened. But with a baseline, you can finally start measuring your actual impact. What happened specifically because of your work? Big difference.
This leads us to the discipline of causality. And don't let the words scare you. It isn't about finding perfect academic statistical proof. That's usually impossible anyway. It's just about being more honest with ourselves and reducing that self-deception. It's about asking, for real, did our action truly move the needle?
So, how do we actually put this into practice? I mean, you don't have to boil the ocean here. It all starts with a structured approach, kind of moving through different levels of maturity.
So, the best teams progress through these levels. You start by just asking if a channel is truly creating new demand or just taking credit. Then, you analyze specific campaigns against that baseline. And finally, you look at the whole marketing portfolio to see if your channels are actually working together or just, stealing credit from each other.
And these high-performance teams, they embed this kind of thinking into their regular operations. First, they diagnose their baseline. Then, they use models to predict that counterfactual, that reality where they did nothing. From there, they can calculate their true lift. And then finally, they can make real decisions to scale, to kill, or to adjust based on this real causal data, not just some vanity metrics.
Look, adopting this mindset isn't just some academic exercise. It has profound, real-world consequences for your team, for your budget, and, frankly, for your credibility inside the business. Because when you don't measure causally, you make really predictable mistakes. You end up pouring money into channels that are great at capturing existing demand, but don't create any new demand. You cut the budgets for long-term brand building because its effect isn't immediate. And eventually, your leadership loses trust, not because marketing isn't working, but because your measurement never told the real story. But on the flip side, the benefits are just huge. When you start measuring for causality, your budget decisions immediately get smarter. Your campaigns get sharper because you actually know what really works.
And your team's culture, it shifts from just celebrating being busy to celebrating real, measurable business outcomes.
Here's a super common scenario to make this concrete. Your standard attribution report might say a campaign generated 300 conversions. Awesome, right? But then a real causal analysis reveals that only 180 of those were truly new. The other 120? They would have happened anyway.
That is a 40% difference between what the report says and what actually happened. This isn't just some tiny reporting nuance. A 40% gap in understanding fundamentally changes where you should put your next dollar of budget. So the real job, before you even touch a tool or a dashboard, is to get these separations straight in your head, to truly understand the massive difference between just reporting and actual measurement, between activity and impact, and of course, between correlation and true causation.
And this, right here, is the foundational takeaway. This isn't about buying some fancy new software. It's about changing how you think. It's about taking that first critical step of defining your baseline before you do anything else.
So I'll leave you with this question. Go look at your latest report, your best performing campaign, and ask yourself honestly, what portion of these results would have happened anyway? Answering that question, that's the beginning of true performance intelligence.